Let me read a quote from the Biddeford Saco Area Courier. It says, quote, "A total restructuring of probate court, but to streamline the process for adoption, will and probate, the present structure with our usage of old forms that must be purchased in court and typewritten on. In this age of computers, this procedure is seen as quite adequate and should be eliminated." Do you feel that Carol Lovejoy did not do a good job as Register of Probate?
Well, Carol Lovejoy has a lot of experience. I cannot discount that she doesn't have a lot of experience. She's been in the office 27 years, the last 4 she's been elected. Now, in a series of articles that appeared in various newspapers throughout York County, that's what she tells as her experience. Well, that's great, but when you want to make a change, and you want to make a change in the probate court or any elected office that you're in, you should make that change immediately and not wait until you're up for re-election. And the processes that she's mentioned and she's spoken about throughout this election process is things that she just recently began working on. And my experience being a city councilor in Biddeford, you just go in full force and try to make changes right away. I mean, granted, you can't make things change right as rapidly as you'd like it to, but at least make some kind of impact. And I feel that as long as she's been in the office, that there has not been a lot of impact. Too many personalities, too much politics.
Let's say on that topic of experience, what in your past has prepared you to take on such a role?
Well, I do have a college degree. I have a bachelor's of science in political science. I have a master's, well, I will have a master's at the end of December in management, and I have a paralegal degree. And I have helped a lot of people and attorneys with probate matters. And 2.5 years ago, I went to this probate court here in Alfred, and I've been periodically since then. And I was just astounded at how archaic, as I mentioned in that article, how archaic the system was. You had to go in. If anybody's ever been to the probate court, you walk right into the office, and there's this wall of forms. And they're all old forms. You have to buy the forms from them. They're either $1 or $2 each. And you can't type them on your computer. You have to run them through a typewriter. Now, who in this age has a typewriter? And my goal, as we'll know in 30 minutes, as the new Register of Probate, I hope, is to change it where it's more computer literate, and attorneys can produce the forms in their office and then have someone come up and file it. And the defense that they've had in the probate court is the older forms hold up for binding and things like that, so they can keep them in the older books. But it's just paper quality. We have paper quality now. It will suffice fine for that. So that's the long answer for your question.
Are there any other changes that you would make as Register of Probate?
Well, obviously, as we know throughout, in the city of Saco, the city of Biddeford, all over the county, all over the nation, there's economic problems. And there's probably going to be some opportunities to do some streamlining in process. That would be reducing costs. There's a budget of $600,000, which I'm used to dealing with a $65 million budget being a city councilor in Biddeford. And we had to streamline a lot of programs and things like that in our city. And Saco's going through the same thing. Now, we'll have to do that with the county. And $600,000 is not a lot of money. To you and I, it's a lot of money. As an individual, it's a lot of money. But for the county, it's not a lot of money. But we'll have to streamline some processes, maybe ease the adoption, make the process a little bit quicker and not hold up the court time. That's where I feel runs up a lot of the cost associated with that office running, is the long process for adoptions, wills, and probate. It should be an easy process.
What made you think to run for Register of Probate? It's a very specific job. What made you think you wanted to be the next Register of Probate?
Well, the reason I ran, I told both the sitting judge at that time, and the Register of Probate, who was Carol Lovejoy. I told both of them 2.5 years ago. I said, I could complain about this office all day long. I said, but it's not going to do any good unless we change the office from the ground up. And the only way we're going to do that is by electing new people. And that's when I decided. Then I told Carol Lovejoy, she probably doesn't remember, but I told her 2.5 years ago I was either going to find someone to run against her, or I was going to run against her myself. And that's why I decided. And I did it for not just my family and my son and my soon-to-be son. My wife's 20 weeks pregnant right now. But I did it for the families that I've seen throughout York County that have called me and told me the problems that they have with the probate court when they go to do probate, when they go to do adoptions and things like that, how difficult the process is. And my record as a city councilor in Biddeford, I have an open door policy. I will, and this is on TV right now, I will maintain an open door policy as a registered probate, and that's not what you see in the office today. And by an open door policy, if people have questions or anything, they can contact me at any time.
And what is your contact information?
My home number is 571-9108. My website, if you want to look at it today, it's www.millsofmaine.us. Sorry, I've been out on the campaign trail all day. And my email address is bmills6@maine.rr.com. And you can always contact me via the City Hall of Biddeford also.
If hypothetically you do not get elected, what's next for Bobby Mills?
Well, I will be running for re-election for City Council next year. I have been asked to run for other positions, but I'm pretty optimistic that I'll win this election today.
Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to cut it over to Lauren Bukovalis, who is interviewing someone to talk about the election. Lauren.
Thank you, Justin. I'm here with Mike Babiak, who just came back from Australia. I heard that you learned some unique information about how the Australian government does their elections. Would you like to share that with us?
Sure. I actually learned that 93% of voters in Australia vote, which is the highest in the world. And if they don't show up, they get fined $100 or more. And most people show up and they make what's called a bunny ballot, which they draw a smiley face on the ballot and submit it, so they don't get fined.
So they don't have to actually vote for a candidate, they can just write on a piece of paper and that counts?
Yeah, they can write like anything, like kangaroo or anything.
That's very good information. Thank you for sharing that with us. Back to you, Justin.
We're going to talk about what other states have on their ballots. It's really interesting to note. California, 20% of power from all utilities would come from renewable sources by 2010. Outstanding, a similar but less ambitious measure is on the ballot in Missouri. Colorado, the definition of a person would extend to the moment of conception, making abortion and some types of birth control illegal. Measures to restrict abortion are also on the ballot in California and South Dakota. In Florida, same-sex marriage would be banned if this measure is passed. Similar measures are on the ballot in both California and Arizona. In Massachusetts, citizens would no longer pay state income tax. Michigan, medicinal marijuana would be legalized. Nebraska, it would be illegal to give preference in government hiring or state college admissions based on gender, race, or ethnicity. A similar measure is on the ballot in Colorado. Oklahoma, disabled veterans would not be required to pay property tax. Oregon, teachers' compensation would be based on classroom performance, not seniority. Now we are seeing record turnout rates at the polls. Over 30 million people have already voted prior to today. That is a record-breaking number, to say the least. Now, in this past Sunday's Maine Sunday Telegram, we have some numbers that we'd like to give you. Maine absentee ballots through last Friday totaled over 163,000 ballots. Now, of that, 42.9% were Democrats, unenrolled or Green Party candidates were 28.9%, and then Republicans 28.2% of those absentee ballots. So we're seeing an overwhelmingly rush to the polls by Democrats in particular. Now we're going to talk about the economy. Millions of Americans are losing their homes to foreclosures. Millions are losing their jobs. It is a tough time for people, and even small businesses. We have a report from Matt Peralt, who is one of our correspondents, and he talks about this with one local business owner. Okay, we're going to run that package for you. Take a look.
No, I don't know where it is.
We will run that package. Don't worry, we're running into some technical problems. That sometimes happens on live TV. We have it. Take a look.
During these tough economic times, many American families are having a hard time making ends meet. The average cost of living goes up, while the average household income remains the same. And many Americans are going to have a tough decision to make this winter, whether to heat their homes or to put food on the table. Whether you are retired, a single mother, or a small business owner, all Americans are feeling the crunch of this economic crisis. For one small business owner, making ends meet has been a difficult challenge. Danielle Perrault owns the Deep Blue, a sea glass jewelry store in the Grand Victorian, right in the center of Old Orchard Beach.
I make my own jewelry out of sea glass, and I'm going to offer edgecomb pottery and some other great things that are unique and different from what's available.
Introduce this package.
Old Orchard Beach, a typical tourist-driven town, saw a drop in the number of locals showing up at their shops over this past summer.
In a drop in locals coming into the shop, a considerable drop over last year.